Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of STRATABEAT'S B2B Marketing Tech Talks. Today I'm very excited to introduce you to the CMO of Ahrefs, Tim Soulo. STRATABEAT is a power user of Ahrefs. We love it. I personally use it literally every single workday, and I use it throughout the day. It's a fantastic tool not only for SEO but also for audience research. And super excited to have Tim on the show today. I've been following Tim on social media for years and years. He's brilliant, has a lot of fantastic marketing insights. And so welcome, Tim.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for inviting me, Tom. Thanks for the kind words about Ahrefs. It's totally like music to my ears to hear that you're actually a long-time user and a fan. Thank you.
Sure. So Tim, to start out, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, so as many people in the US can hear, I'm not a native English speaker. So I come from Ukraine, where I lived most of my life. Basically, up until I got found by Ahrefs CEO and founder Dmitry and got hired and brought to Singapore. And this is one of the reasons why my English accent isn't improving much, because in Singapore, people speak what they call Singlish. Yeah, so this is a little bit of background on my accent and where it is coming from. And basically, before Ahrefs, I had all sorts of marketing related jobs. I worked at a few different companies and I was trying to bootstrap my own projects. And then Dmitry came with an offer I couldn't refuse. And I ended up being the first marketer at the time in the team of 16. When I joined Ahrefs, there were 16 people, and they did do marketing before me. But at the time when I joined, I was the first kind of dedicated marketer, the only dedicated marketer in the team. And from there, it just kept escalating. We were doing more stuff. I was hiring people, and we got to where we are today. That's basically the short version of the story.
Fantastic. And how many people are you today?
So today we are about 70-ish, which is quite small actually, because our main competitor, which is SEMrush, they have over 1,000 people. So we compete with kind of 10 less staff. You can think of how effective and efficient we are. And I believe Moz, which is our kind of second largest competitor, I think they have around 300 people or something. So yeah, I had to put this in perspective to show that it's not that we are a little company, it's that we are an efficient company. We managed to do more with less people.
Great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Ahrefs and the different tools that are included in the platform and who it's for and all of that good stuff?
So Ahrefs used to be a tool for SEO professionals. So people who do SEO as their job to make money. But right now, I think we are quite well known in the industry of SEO professionals. And so we are kind of expanding to digital marketers in general, because if you're a digital marketer, you have to understand how SEO works, even at the fundamental levels, how to get traffic from Google, how traffic from Google is different from other sources of traffic, etc., etc. And actually, we also try to reach pretty much any website owner, any solopreneur who is interested in growing their search traffic to their website. So this is why we have lots of educational material. So Ahrefs used to be just a tool, not just a tool, pretty awesome tool, but today we are a tool and free education, because by educating, SEO is not rocket science, thankfully, and by educating more people how to do their own SEO at the fundamental level, of course, you cannot do the same level as some SEO professionals, but at the fundamental level, you can do a lot. And we teach people that, and we give them our tools and data. And this is what Ahrefs is. We kind of empower people with knowledge, data, and tools to get their SEO right and to get more traffic from Google.
So Tim, can you tell me more about the specific differentiation of Ahrefs? How are you different from others in the market?
So I think the main point of difference is our founder, actually, because he's a very technical person. And he was working on the issues of web crawling, search, storing large amounts of data, processing large amounts of data way before he founded Ahrefs. So I think even in his university, his diploma work was something related to web search or something like this. So he has been doing this for many, many years, and this is why he has tons of expertise in those things. And he's actually a very hands-on CEO. So he's not just running the company kind of as a business. He's actually in the trenches. He's digging into the code. He's making sure that we're using all the latest hardware. He's investing millions, like tens of millions of dollars into our hardware to make sure that we're running all the latest CPU cores, all the latest SSD drives, etc., etc., etc. So the main differentiation is that we are super technically sophisticated on our back end, so that to make it easy for people on the front end. So for example, I'm hearing a lot of claims from our competitors, like everyone's trying to measure like how good is their link index. So one of the main things that Ahrefs does is shows you your links or the links of your competitor, and you have to crawl the entire web for that and see which websites are linking to which websites to be able to produce what is called a link graph. So everyone in our space is kind of trying to compete who has like more links, who shows more link data. But then if you go to the actual interface, if you go to the actual tool and you try to use the online interface to slice and dice this data to get some meaningful insights out of it, like what can you filter, what can you sort, what kind of data points are there? Ahrefs trumps everyone, like blows everyone out of the water. And that's because we, like our founder and CEO, over the years, he was investing most of the effort into making sure that we have sound data, that we have sound servers, which the data is running on, and all that stuff. So yeah, I think our main differentiation is the way we can operate with large data. I don't think our competitors are capable of doing what we are doing. So yeah, the raw number, like it is one thing to crawl the entire internet once. It is another thing to crawl entire internet regularly and make sure that all your data is fresh. And it is a third thing to give people access to this data in a way where they can slice and dice it any way they want, and the system won't crash.
Great. So Tim, can you share a power tip with our audience? You know, what's an advanced way of using Ahrefs that, say, the first-time user wouldn't know?
I'm not sure that people need advanced ways, because advanced ways are for advanced SEOs. So if there are any like advanced SEOs in the audience, then Ahrefs has some use cases that I cannot even share because I'm not that advanced myself. So I'm not a technical SEO. But we have, for example, we have site audit tool, which crawls your website and reports all issues that you have on your website, all technical issues that might be preventing how Google crawls and understands your website. And there are quite a few sophisticated features, again, sophisticated filters, sophisticated reports, which you can do within site audit tool if you know what you're doing. But to give people a pretty simple tip in regards to using the tools and data in Ahrefs, so a very simple tip is understanding which pages on your website have the most links. And we have a tool called Site Explorer. You put your website there, and there's a report called Best by Links. And it shows you which pages of your website have the most links, or which pages of your competitor website have the most links, for that matter. Because links is what is helping your website to rank higher in Google. And if you know which pages have the most links, it means you can produce more of them. Or if you see which pages of your competitors are producing a lot of links, you can create them. Links is basically what people love you for. What is a notable thing that you have on your website that people from other websites would link to. So this is very important to understand what content, what pages on your website are attracting references, mentions, links from other websites. So this is a very useful report.
Excellent. And yeah, and we love the site audit tool. We use that all the time. We set it up for automated reports, very, very detailed technical analysis. We love that.
Thank you.
So Tim, changing the subject a little bit, I'd like to look at the way that Ahrefs markets itself. And I love your blog. I think it's fantastic. It's very detailed. Covers SEO topics in sophisticated detail. It's really well thought out. And so I was wondering if you could share what you and Joshua have been doing with the blog in terms of your content strategy.
So we eat our own dog food, as they say, and our content strategy is fully based on SEO. So we do extensive research of what people are searching for in our industry, what our potential customers are searching for in Google. Then we create this content for them on our blog, and we try to rank for it in Google so that people who have problems related to SEO, digital marketing, ranking in Google, and all those things, so that they would land on our blog. And within our articles, we will show them how to use Ahrefs to solve their problems, because Ahrefs is basically an irreplaceable solution for many of the SEO issues that people are having. So yeah, our blog strategy is entirely based on SEO. We do keyword research, and we cover the things that people are actually searching for. And then in terms of making sure that our content is great, I think one of the main things about it is peer feedback. So we don't, it's not that we do keyword research, we list a bunch of topics that we want covered on our blog, and then we go on Fiverr, hire some like $5 per like 100 words person, and then they write an article targeting the keyword. This is not how it happens. So we make sure that people who write articles for us, and we actually employ them, we have in-house marketers who do this, that they have first-hand actual experience with the topic that they're writing about. They're not a writer, they're actually an expert. So we employ marketers and we have them write for our blog. So this is the first thing. And the second is peer feedback. We show our work to each other. So for example, when I want to write an article or record a video, I would show my script or my draft to Josh or Sam. They would give me feedback. I would rework it. If someone else, Josh looks over the content that is published in our blog. So he gives feedback to other members of the team. And Sam also consults with myself or Josh whenever he's unsure about some stuff that he's saying in his videos. So we often give each other peer feedback, and we also, whenever we can, whenever we feel that within our team, we are lacking expertise of a certain topic, we would go out and ask our community, hey guys, who is knowledgeable in this topic or that topic, or I might tweet a request like I'm looking to interview people who did this or that. And we would talk to actual experts, to actual practitioners, and create content based on real things and not just rewrite content that we've seen from other websites. So these are two things that we do. First, we make sure that our content has expertise behind it. And second, we make sure that there is some peer feedback so that it's not just a single person writing and publishing an article, that someone else looked at this article before publishing it.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, that is one thing that one thing you mentioned about the originality of the writing and the content. It comes through very, very clearly. Clearly,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's experts writing, excellent content. So I think it's great. And so similarly, I'd like to just talk about your YouTube channels for a minute. You have 268,000 subscribers, I believe, to your main YouTube channel, which is phenomenal. Can you speak to how you and Samo have built the YouTube channel and built such a loyal following?
Great question. You have to probably invite Sam and interview him on this topic alone, because I only started the channel myself. So shortly after joining Ahrefs, I realized that we don't have YouTube channel. I realized that I watch YouTube quite frequently whenever I needed a tutorial for something. And I basically took my iPhone and I started recording myself. On the first videos on our YouTube channel were recorded on iPhone, and since I'm not a native speaker, my English was way worse 6 years ago than it is today, and it took me like 3 hours to record a 6-minute video because of how many failed attempts I had, how many takes I have to take. So this is how the YouTube channel started. I just started posting videos, and then Sam came as a savior, and he took over, and he basically dedicated most of his time into researching what resonates with people, how to better present our content. At the same time, the video animator who I hired back in the day to work with me on those first clumsy animations, he was also learning all the time, taking courses, progressing. And so if you go to our YouTube channel, sort videos by oldest first, and compare the first videos that we published, the animations in those videos, my terrible English, and even content, which was the content wasn't good, and I was aware of that, and which is why I called our first video series Oversimplified SEO. So I was worried that professional SEOs would grill me for saying something stupid or for giving content that is not new or not impressive. This is why I kind of safeguarded myself by calling my series Oversimplified SEO. If you're looking for something like out of this world, you probably go to some other channel. This is like very simple. I'm just sharing simple things.
Great. So Tim, can you speak to where you feel the SEO technology market is heading? There are tons and tons of tools flooding the market, but where do you think it's all going?
So like I said, initially Ahrefs was a pretty specialized tool, which was only useful for hardcore SEO professionals. But right now, we covered most of the market, and we made a lot of progress since then. And we understand that there are lots and lots of people who own websites and who want to get more traffic to their websites, and we want to empower them. So I'm not sure about the entire industry. I'm not sure where they are going, but I can definitely tell you where Ahrefs is going. And what we want to do, we want to simplify our tools. So while we're making our data more sophisticated on the back end, we want the front end to be more simple, more user friendly, more self-explanatory, so that anyone, even a person who doesn't call themselves SEO, would be able to open Ahrefs, plug their website, and get some actionable insights on how to improve something on their website, on how to create the content that people want, and get search traffic from Google. So Ahrefs is going into the direction of helping people without SEO knowledge to get more traffic to their websites.
Great. Thanks for that. And so, Tim, where can people find you? Where can they find Ahrefs online? Where should they go?
So they can find me on Twitter. I'm most active on Twitter at Tim Soulo. Ahrefs, Ahrefs. This is how it is spelled, because lots of people pronounce it differently. And if people in your audience want to start learning SEO, if they want to get some SEO fundamentals, so that at least understand what they're talking about if they need to hire an SEO professional, we have created a pretty cool educational resource for beginners, and the URL to it is also quite convenient. It is ahrefs.com/SEO. This is basically kind of an entry page to the world of SEO. So if someone, like, again, we didn't make it, we didn't overcomplicate it. We created a simple guide with all the fundamentals that pretty much every website owner needs to understand about SEO if they want to get more traffic from Google. So yeah, I invite people to check it out if they want to dig a little bit into the fundamentals of SEO.
Excellent. And I encourage everyone as well to visit Tim on Twitter, to visit ahrefs.com, test out the tool. Again, StrataBeat uses it all the time, every single workday. I personally use it every single workday. It's a very, very powerful tool. So Tim, thanks so much for coming on the show, and really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for having me.